Metathesiophobia. A 16-letter word I'm sure most of us have probably never heard of before. But the word phobia, that's familiar. And so is the feeling behind it, fear. Metathesiophobia is the fear of change, something I used to live with every single day. Just over a year ago, my life was perfect. School in the morning, studies in the afternoon, training in the evening. I played for the UAE Under-17 national football team. My goals were clear. My future was planned. For almost a year, this routine was my life, and I loved it. Until one day at school, a friend asked me something that stopped me in my tracks. Rhianna, don't you ever get tired of it? Tired of what? I asked. Of the same routine, knowing exactly what you're always going to do. That confused me. How could someone get tired of familiarity? But I soon realized something surprising. Many people do. Some people crave change. They chase it, even thrive in it. But I guess most of us live somewhere in between. We fear change, and at the exact same time, we want it. That contradiction fascinated me. Psychologists call this tension the approach avoidance conflict. The idea that the very thing we are drawn to can also terrify us. So I decided to test it. I conducted a small survey asking about 40 people a simple question. Do you fear change, or do you crave it? And here were the results. This was far from anything I was expecting. Myself, a female teenager who feared change and did not crave it. I was part of that small, odd percentage. But the result that surprised me the most was that 57.5% of all participants feared change, yet 75% of them craved it at the same time. So fear wasn't stopping people from wanting change. The real problem wasn't change at all. It was the fear of losing control. The fear that when change shows up, you are no longer steering the wheel of your own life. I lost control of my wheel on October 29th, 2024. During one of the most important matches of the season, I got injured. My strongest memory of that day wasn't the pain, but the tears, because I knew from that moment on, everything was going to change. I had torn my ACL, the anterior cruciate ligament of the knee, an injury that sidelines athletes for over a year. I was given two options, surgery or quit. ACL surgery at 16 wasn't common, but I knew what I wanted. I wanted to play. And that was the beginning of my journey from who I was to who I've become. At first, I treated change like my competition, a fight over who got to control my life more. So I started rehab immediately. Some athletes return in just 9 months, my doctor said on day one. And that was all I needed to hear. 9 months became an obsession. I trained when I wasn't cleared, pushed myself when I was told to slow down. Every step forward stopped feeling like progress and started feeling like a debt I had to repay. Then, 4 months in, my physiotherapist told me, we have to start again, slowly. 9 months is no longer possible. That was when I realized something painful. I was so focused on beating change, I didn't realize the life I was letting it take from me. Now, what if change wasn't my competitor, but my companion? Like that brutally honest friend we all have, who tells us what we need to hear, not what we want to. Change does that. It pulls us out of comfort not to punish us, but to help us grow. So I stopped fighting change, and I started to work with it. That's when I created a new meaning for ACL: acceptance, conversion, and learning. Change must be accepted before it can be survived. It means coming to terms with your past instead of dwelling on it. Fighting change only makes it harder. Turn the unfamiliar into something livable. Create a new routine, a new goal, a new sense of purpose. Discomfort isn't failure, it's part of the process. You know who you were, so you know who you can become. Progress doesn't just disappear because the path changes. Every step forward still counts. It takes courage to rebuild when everything feels different. You may lose people, places, even versions of yourself you once loved. But what remains is you, and that is enough. 1 year, 12 months, 375 days later, I was cleared to play football again. But I didn't return as just the same athlete. I returned as someone who no longer fears change, but welcomes it. So let's go back to the word I started with. Metathesiophobia, the fear of change. I probably had to remind you of it again. And that's the point. Because fear fades when we stop letting it decide our future. Change will always be inevitable, but who you become, that part is still yours. Thank you.